Notification. First, welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. This hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce the members. To my left is Lisa Normandy, the board secretary. I'm Al Gravel. This is James Bezikoski, Hans Winthrop, Paul Doherty, and Pat Callahan. The way that we'll proceed is Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communication. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of additional documents. You'll please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions they might have on the application while you're at the mic. There will be a public comment period. You will please come forward to the mic and give your name and address, and please address all comments and questions to the board. The board will then go into deliberation, and there are required findings for any special permit. They are as follows: that it will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire, explosion, or other reasons. That it will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or the amenities of the neighborhood. That it will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use, and for that it will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicants are Todd and Guinevere Terhune, 15 Woodland Drive in Lunenburg. They are seeking a special permit to construct a two-car garage which will require a side yard setback. An application for the same dated 8/16/18 was submitted to the building inspector and was denied by the same for the reasons stated in the letter attached hereto. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. Lunenburg Town Code 250-5.2, setbacks in yards, and 250-5.2E. The street address is 15 Woodland Drive in Lunenburg, assesses map 49, parcel 53. Name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Todd D. and Guinevere Terhune. The deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 5432, page 144, and dated September 28, 2004. They have answered the special permit questions. The questions are as follows. Will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply, no, the construction of the proposed garage will not be injurious or dangerous or cause any hazard to the public health in any way. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? B, no, on the contrary, the construction will be an improvement and will have a positive effect on land and building values in the neighborhood. The garage will not have an adverse effect on the lake in any way. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use? C, the garage will offer significant improvement to our home. Use of the garage will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? The reply, no, the use of the garage will not produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines which would be detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. And that's signed Todd and Guinevere Terhune, 15 Woodland Drive in Lunenburg. The letter from the building inspector dated August 16th reads as follows. Dear Mr. Terhune, I have reviewed your building permit application submitted by Peritus Contractors, LLC, in regard to a proposed 25 by 28 attached garage at your residence. The plan submitted shows the proposed garage should be located 10 feet from the side yard. The zoning district that you are located in is Residence A, according to the zoning map of Lunenburg. Because the location of the garage would be in violation of the Lunenburg Town Code 250-5.2, setbacks in yards, and 250-5.2E1A, required side width 5 feet for a detached accessory building if 100 feet or more from the exterior line of any street, 15 feet for all other buildings. I must deny this permit application based off of the proposed location. A special permit would need to be granted from the Zoning Board of Appeals in order to be closer than the required setback of 15 feet. I did notice that the plan that was submitted to me is a portion of an as-built plan of your house and sewage disposal system. I would highly recommend that you submit a fully stamped engineered plan with your application if you choose to apply for a special permit. The zoning board will want to verify the correct dimensions to scale. Instructions and applications can be found in the office during normal business hours or on the town website at the attached links. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact me, Andrew Hudson, building official. There is also a copy of the deed that was recorded in 2004. There's a copy of the abutters list. They were all notified 2 weeks prior to tonight. And then a site plan and the full septic plan is attached. I did receive a memo from the James Griffey from the Neshoba Board of Health, and he has no Board of Health issues with this property. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
And with that, I would invite the applicant up, if he would like to come up and speak to the application.
Todd Terhune, 15 Woodland Drive. So I have some other
Give it to
papers
Lisa, she'll pass it down.
One is a letter from my neighbor, Mr. Della Santa, and I think, Paul, this is what you were looking for today.
I'll read the submittal.
Can I make one note on the letter? Mr. Della Santa put mudroom and garage, but it's just going to be a two-car garage.
Okay. This is dated today. To whom it may concern, we have been notified that Todd and Guinevere Terhune intend to build an addition to their house that will include a mudroom and garage. It will be located on their land on the side that abuts our property at 27 Woodland Drive. We have no reservations of this being done, and in fact think it would be a nice addition to the neighborhood. That is signed by both Eric and Gail Della Santa.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and then this is a mortgage survey plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to add, or submit? Pretty much covers it, right? Okay.
I had, excuse me, I had put the plans, the original permit in. I'm Courtney Zavonovich from Paradis Contractors.
Okay.
So we had kind of worked through this process a little bit together, but
Okay.
so-
Did you get his name, Lisa?
Yes, your address?
239 South Row Road.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, while they're looking at that, I'll just ask a quick question. Okay. I did look at the property, and I noticed that on the plan, it appears, and I don't have an actual dimension, that there's only one corner, the rear corner of the garage that is in violation. Is that correct?
Yes.
The front is, do you know what the distance is?
I don't know. Did you
No,
take those
I
measurements?
didn't measure the front wheel. I only measured the back because I knew that was going to be the...
Because you knew that was the
It's gonna be within the
closest to
15
the
feet.
side yard? Okay, okay. With that, I will open it up to the board.
I was wondering, the shrubbery on the right-hand side, is that on your property or is that on the other?
You know, I don't know. I know Mr. Della Santa put those bushes in a long time ago, but I don't know
So it could be
whether...
right through the middle?
It could be through the middle, I don't know, yeah.
Thank you.
But I know he did put those in.
Yeah.
Are you on town water? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
So if I'm looking at the, Mr. Chairman, if I may, if I'm looking at the plan, the 10 feet, you've staked it out to the property line where you know that with certainty is 10 feet, and that's what you're gonna be your biggest encroachment on the side setback?
Yeah, based on the, well, that plan is, That plan right there is the scale, so I just measured off of that plan, knowing that we were gonna be 28 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Because there's no stakes or
Right.
anything right now.
Okay.
So I just measured off of that plan to scale.
Okay.
To get the 28 feet, and
Okay.
whatever that left us was
Okay.
10 feet.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, just curious. I was there today, we met.
Yeah,
spoke.
thank you, Paul.
So you enter from the side of the house, and the garage is going to
Right.
cover that, so
Yeah.
will you be going through the garage into the
Right, so there'll
house?
be, the plan is to have a man door on the left-hand side of the garage, so you can walk straight through there, and then up the stairs, as you saw them today, there'll be new stairs there, but the same configuration.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions?
I just want,
Yeah.
second floor or no second floor, just,
Oh, no, there's no second floor. We're going to try to put some storage up there if we can, but there's no,
Yeah,
nothing,
gotcha.
no living space or anything.
Okay, are there any other questions? With that, I'll accept the motion.
Public-
Oh, I'm sorry, public comment? Does anybody have anything from the public they would like to speak to? Seeing none?
I'll make a motion that we grant the special permit to allow for the exception of 10 feet in the back corner of the garage as proposed.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. That?
Yep.
Good luck
Great,
with your
thank you.
garage.
Thank you, Paul, for
I
coming
do
today.
have
Thank you.
one more little bit of reading I have to do.
Okay.
Okay, for a special permit, the special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinance of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions. Non-compliance of such conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. And after certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded, and the special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. With that, good luck with your garage.
Good luck. Let's hope they're all that easy.
We have a few more minutes to wait. The next hearing is scheduled for 7:15. Yeah, I know it. Very true.
14, I think we're good.
What's that?
14, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good.
You have to read this again because I see new people came in. Okay, 7:15, so we will hear the next application. Again, I have to give the notifications as I see some new people arrive, so again, welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce you to the members. To my left is Lisa Normandin, Board Secretary. I'm Al Gravel. This is James Bezikowski, Hans Winthrop, Paul Doherty, and Pat Callahan. The way the hearing will be conducted, Lisa will read the application and any submitted communications. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of additional documents. You'll please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions they might have on the applicant while you're at the mic. You don't have to come yet. She's got some reading to do.
Oh,
They like
I
to
thought
stay sitting.
I thought you were asking me to
No,
come forward.
no,
then.
not yet.
Okay.
I will call you up. The public, there'll be a public comment period. So again, if you would like to speak, please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Please address all comments and questions to the board. The board will then go into deliberation, and again, this is a special permit. So the findings are that it will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health, unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire, explosion, or other reasons. That it will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or the amenities of the neighborhood. That it will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in an open use. And that it will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant, Donald McMillan and Carol S. Ruth. 91 Long Hill Road, Deep River, Connecticut, 06417. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. A special permit to construct a single-family residence at 31 School Street. Property is subject to Village Center District zoning, which does not allow for construction of a single-family residence. For this, a special permit is required. See Code of Lunenburg, Section 250-4.17. An application for the same was dated 9/4/18, was submitted to the building inspector and was denied by the same for the reasons stated in the letter attached here too. Has the proposed action or use begun? No, it has not. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 250-4.17. The street address of the property is 31 School Street, Assessors Map 71, Parcel 96. Name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Donald McMillan Ruth and Carol S. Ruth, 91 Long Hill Road, Deep River, Connecticut, 06417. The deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 7484, page 55, and recorded September 30th, 2011. The special permit questions are as follows. Will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply, a proposed structure is a single-family residence at the end of a dead-end street. No unusual traffic conditions exist or public health or other hazardous conditions based on construction requirements and all appropriate setback requirements. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The reply, the proposed residence is of a traditional style in keeping with existing single-family dwellings in the neighborhood. Since there are no commercial enterprises with walk-in traffic on this street, it is not out of character with current use. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if an open use? The reply, as a single-family residence, there is no open use associated with it. Visually, the house will not be readily viewed from the right-of-way. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? D, again, as a single-family residence, there is no expectation of noticeable noise, dust, etc. from its intended use. The following information is provided because it is considered important to the case. The subject property located at 31 School Street is mainly abutted by single-family residences, except for the abandoned former primary school. Additionally, as a business location, it would suffer as School Street is a dead-end road affording no drive-by traffic, and the building itself will not be visible from the proper right-of-way. And this is signed September 17th, 2018 by Donald McMillan Ruth, 91 Long Hill Drive, Deep River, Connecticut, 06417, and Carol S. Ruth. There is a building permit plan with the proposed home and driveway shown. There is a list of abutters and the site plan from the assessor's office. There is a letter from Donald and Carol Ruth from Deep River, Connecticut regarding 31 School Street, authorization to represent. Dear Town of Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals, we, the undersigned, hereby authorize Robert A. Doolittle to represent us in any matters brought before your board for the subject property located at 31 School Street in regard to the Town of Lunenburg Code, Chapter 250 zoning, Section 4.17 Village Center District, and an appeal for a special permit under Section 8.3. Sincerely, Donald and Carol S. Ruth, dated 9/13/2018, and it was also notarized. And there is also a plan of the house attached.
Thank you.
One more thing, I received a memo from James Gariffi, the Board of Health agent, and he said 31 School Street, no Board of Health issues. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, and with that, I would invite the applicant up if he has additional information, submissions.
Robert Doolittle, 24 Leominster Road, which is actually a property that abuts 31 School Street, and on behalf of Donald and Carol Ruth. The property, the subject property, we purchased this, the actual total property, 4+ acres, in 2011, and subdivided under the guise of the planning board and have a Form A lot, and that was as of 2011 sometime. And we did this with in mind to build a single-family residence for my in-laws. They are my in-laws. And that was our plan all along. So obviously the Center Village District has affected our plans greatly. But this was our plan all along. So the applicant, obviously making the application now because of our plans, the money that we've spent developing this property, which otherwise does not need any zoning variances or anything. It's otherwise a proper Form A lot, which was obviously zoned as residential at the time. Okay? That's pretty straightforward as far as the information that I can present.
Okay,
So.
thank you. Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, so if I understand you correctly, so when back in 2011, the village district did not exist. You had a buildable lot there.
Correct.
Almost essentially an A&R lot, approval not required, so you could do it. Now that the village district bylaws come into play, now you have to get a special permit to build your house.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right.
Because of the village.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You said that when you purchased the lot, it was around 4 acres?
Well, we purchased the property, at 24 Leominster Road included the 31 School Street property, which we legally subdivided, deeded over to my in-laws, and went through the proper planning board approval to get it, to approve it as a buildable lot.
So it's now just over 2 acres or something?
It's 80,000 plus square feet with proper frontage.
Any other questions?
I don't have any more questions, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
I think I'm good, Mr. Chairman. I mean, if he was here last year, then he wouldn't be here if he pulled the permit.
Well, unfortunately, we had planned on doing this in 2013. Several things have happened with my in-laws and health issues and trying to get in. We're at the point now where we have a number of years left, and we're trying to maximize those, and
Right. No, I understand.
trying to get them up here, and obviously time is of the essence for us at this point, so.
Thank you. I'm good.
You're good, okay. Just one thing I wanted to point out, you sent in the drawing, it appears to be a one-story building.
Yes.
I did notice something in the village district, which, you know, they say all the things that you can do
Right.
by special permit, which, again, you can get that. But under Section 3, the following uses are prohibited in the village center district. And A is newly constructed one-story buildings on lots of less than 5 acres. I know that it sounds strange, but if you built a two-story,
Well, it's a two-story, it's because it's the issue, of course, is the grading of the lot. It slopes about 15 feet from the driveway level to the backyard.
Okay.
So it's actually 2 stories,
Okay.
2 full stories in the back.
all right, I just wanted to point that out because that is in the bylaw.
Okay.
I mean, and so it is a prohibited use. So it actually has to be two-story.
It has to be 2 stories.
According to this, and I did check.
So how about a story and a half? Which would be, you know, if we built the second
All it
floor.
prohibits, and I'm not even sure why, but it says the following uses are prohibited
Right.
in the village center district. And I did check in the new things that were just
Well, I did,
approved, and it is in
so I did
there.
see that, and the original design was for a cape.
Okay.
Which would be a 2-story.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
can certainly, and it's a simple enough thing to
To change.
change the roof pitch and create a 2-story
Right,
building, if that is the issue
Okay.
that would be, you know.
Okay. Again, I'm just pointing it out for the, so that, you know. I don't
One
know
of the
if you
things
have
we were
seen
trying to
that.
do is obviously the use for my in-laws would be one-floor living for the most part.
Right, right.
But certainly, building a second floor, or, you know, just changing the roof pitch and having a usable second floor is not much of an issue.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just had a question based on that. I mean, wouldn't you have had so when you built it, when you subdivided it back in 2011, I mean,
Yes.
it was a buildable lot.
Yes.
And I don't,
No, I.
to impose, here's
isn't- it
a
isn't
taxpayer
like-
who has a buildable lot, and all of a sudden there comes the village district.
Well, that's why I pointed out, because
Yeah.
it's not anything we can't, the special permits, this is what we can do.
Right.
The prohibited use is something that is in there. I don't know the reason for it.
Did the building inspector send you a letter saying that it was?
No, and unfortunately, in September, when I was starting with the permitting process last September, perk tests, that sort of thing, I went to because I knew about the districts, and I said, what are our, major issues here? And zoning, we looked at the zoning issues, and we had it was a proper Form A lot, and we talked about the districts. And unfortunately, he didn't bring it up at that time, so we went ahead and, we've spent about $15,000
Sure.
on engineering and whatnot.
Well, that's
at
what
this
I'm
point,
saying.
so,
I said, why should he bear the cost of having to do it over again when he had a buildable lot in the first place?
Will you be connected to the town storage in that area?
No, we could. I approached the DPW regarding that, but it would end up being a pump-up system because of we're lower than the street proper, and we were able to get good perks and a fairly standard septic system, so it really made no sense to do it, because the cost to connect and all of that was not going to. So all we're looking for is water connection. We're not looking for sewer connection or anything like that.
How many bedroom home is the septic system?
Well, it's designed for 4, but it's essentially a 2-bedroom house.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's kind of a tragedy, Mr. Chairman. But,
What's that?
you know, the whole situation, if they had done this a year ago, they wouldn't be here.
Well, I agree with
But
that.
I also
don't-
agree with you, what you read
Right.
there, that it says no, and the only thing I could guess is they don't want strip malls in the
Again, they're
the
going to have to
Senate
go to the
district or
planning
something.
board, you know, they're going to have to get a permit. So,
Right.
you know, what we're dealing with is the fact that he wants
I'm
to
sorry.
build a residential
What
home.
are you saying?
What's that?
We're going to have to go for another?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I
When
thought you were
When
saying-
you get your house, when you're going to, you know, go for your permit and all of that. I'm sure they're going to... I don't know, you know, they're going to...
No, that was actually, we've done a full application for building.
Oh, you'd have.
I did that under the guise of, we thought we were okay. And then this
Okay.
is what came back out of it is, no, you've got to...
You're not okay because of
Because
the-
of the village center district.
Right, okay,
Otherwise, we meet all other requirements.
right,
So,
okay.
I don't know, I mean, I can't agree with you, Mr. Chairman, I like to go by the printed word, and that's what it says. I mean, if the applicant wanted to withdraw right now and come back with a two-story design, perhaps that might be
Well, I mean,
a better
at
option.
this point, we're not approving the house plan. You know what I'm saying? I'm pointing that out.
Oh, we're approving the lot?
We're approving the special
Oh, I see what you're
permit
saying,
for a
okay.
residential home in the village district.
And then he would then have to go, and the planning
He
board's
would-
going to say you're going to have
You
to...
know, he goes for his permit.
Right. I got you.
Okay, so with that, any other discussion?
I ask the public.
Yeah, any public discussion? Just come forward. Give your name and address.
Robert Ebersold, 94 Main Street, speaking as Robert Ebersold, not as a selectman. I am a resident and owner within the Architectural Preservation District and the Village District, Central District, and I'm speaking in favor of this application, looking at where the property is, looking at the uses within the area, the intent of the bylaw. I do support the application.
Thank you. David?
Dave Rogers, 82 Highland Street. I'm confused, because I thought the gentleman said that there's frontage on Leominster Road. Is that true?
I believe you said before
No.
they subdivided the land.
Before he subdivided.
It once went from School Street to Leominster Road, then they subdivided it.
Okay. And the land that was subdivided that had frontage on Leominster Road, that has been sold?
No, he lives in that
He
land.
lives in that. The back lot, he's going to be his in-laws.
Okay.
So it's in separate titles, though, am I correct? It's separate deeds.
Okay. So the property in question has nothing to do with the property on Massachusetts Avenue? You know,
No.
No.
You know,
No.
Yeah,
No,
this is on School Street.
This is,
School Street. It abuts the old primary school.
Okay, so if you face the primary school, it's to the right-hand side?
Left.
Left.
Left side.
If you're facing the primary school, it's to the left, right where the 9X building is. They have a
Yes.
little substation, right to the right,
The right, okay.
right to the right.
All right, now I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Please come forward, name and address, say whatever you'd like.
Hi, Cohen Dwyer, 76 Main Street, and I'm here representing the Architectural Preservation District. I'm just, I want to express concern about this. I realize there's a lot of single-family residences in the neighborhood, so I don't think it would be inconsistent with those uses. But I think the Village District bylaw was intended to shape the overall direction of development in the downtown area. And I'm especially concerned just because it does abut the old primary school. I know a lot of people have given up on that place and think that it's useless and that we just need to tear it down. The Architectural Preservation District does not agree with that opinion. We're still looking to rehabilitate it and find new uses for it. I'm not specifically for or against this variance, but I just want you to consider how another single-family home might impact the way that the primary school could be used, either for civic use or for commercial use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else from the public like to speak? Please come forward to the mic, give your name and address.
Hi, I'm Dave Tonkey. I live at 72 Leominster Road, and I'm in all of your districts. I'm in a butter to the property with Bob over here. Nice to see you again. Yeah, I share a property line with the aforementioned property, and I know there's some folks that have some concerns about the property in of itself. I don't have a concern about the house in itself, and Bob was gracious enough to come by my home last week and we had a chat. My concern is the drainage off the property. So I bought my home about 2.5 years ago. We closed in July. Still got an issue with the gas line, Bob. So my concern is the drainage off that property. If you guys look at the property line, you'll see that one corner that I share with Bob and Anna. That is the lowest part on that property. The first year I was there, so winter of 16, I lost my driveway. So I just spent 20 grand redoing my circular drive. So I've got about 4 acres. I've actually got about an 18-inch drainage, which I found was plugged up, which caused my driveway to fail on one side and hopefully not the other. So I'm trying to replace it this year because I've got a drainage across the entire front of my property that moves into my neighbor's yard, Joe and Carol next door. And a lot of that water runoff is kind of making their driveway fail as well because it's a lot of water moving off. So we had talked about maybe doing a swale on that corner to help direct some of the water because it's not only coming through the conduit, but it's just washing across because it's not really graded well. It's washing across my driveway on one side and it was taking out part of it. So in addition to all the mud and everything else that, I drove over, it made it collapse. So my concern was is how do we kind of like, if there's, and maybe this isn't the right form, maybe I need to go talk to Jack Rodriguez over at DPW, because I'd like to find a way to, once we grade or get that water off that property, which is affecting actually all 3 of ours, Bob's, myself, and Anna's, well, 4 if I include poor Joe and Carol at the end of my, at the end of the conduit that comes over underneath my other side of the driveway is how I can get that water into the sewage drain there on Leominster Road. Because right now my current plan is just dig a pipe and stick it up against the back of that little stone wall so y'all don't notice it, and just have it drain through the wall and across the sidewalk. So those are my concerns, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Hello, I'm Anna Clementi, and I'm at 42 Leominster Road, and I'm directly in the middle between 72 and 24. So as I look out of my yard, I would see this home, and I think the construction would adversely affect my property value and my quality of life while they're doing this. And I'm also concerned about the drainage issues, because when we moved into that house, we had to do periphery drainage. We had to build a new wall because there were rotted sills, there was a lot of clay, and there was a lot of water on that property that no one had taken care of. So I'm concerned about the drainage issue also, but I'm also concerned about the noise and the effect this is going to have on my property value and the construction. And I would be looking out at this home, and frankly, I'm a little offended that I knew nothing about this until Mr. Doolittle came to my house to tell me. And when the Crockers sold that property, but they were selling it, and I knew they were selling it, I tried to buy the land to prevent just this thing from happening. And the Crockers preferred to sell it as land and house together. So I think, and they kept it as open fields and took care of it for a long time. And I think it will change the flavor of this neighborhood. And I'm really concerned about how it's going to affect my property values. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I'll cut off. If you would like to address some of the issues, the applicant, I would gladly let you do that.
So regarding the first thing that David brought up regarding the drainage, and I was not aware of the drainage issue I was not aware of any drainage issues from the lot, because it's a big field and, you know, you don't really think that much about it. So we did discuss doing some swale, and I don't know that the house would affect or change the way the water flows off this lot, but I am certainly agreeable from his standpoint of doing something to direct it. He has basically a stone riprap area where we could direct it to, so that it would help mitigate that issue. That's the first thing. Regarding the adverse value of Anna's property, I think conversely, I would say this would be certainly a better value than having a commercial property or a storefront or something like that put here with the requisite parking that would be required and lighting, because that would be part of a commercial property. And if we are not able to do something with this property, then we might have to sell it, because, you know, they need to do something in order to move on with their lives. So we've spent some money, we have some time invested in this, and, you know, on good faith, so. And I'm not sure, and again, I'm not sure that the special permit, you know, is, if the discussion was, which would people not prefer to have a field built on in their backyard, I mean, you know, many of us have lived in situations like that, and, you know, if it's a legal use of the property granted by a special permit or whatever, then there's not much you can do about that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and with that, I will cut off public discussion, bring it back to the board.
So we're just voting on a special permit, Mr.
We're
Chairman?
voting on a special permit for residents in the village district.
Okay.
Which is something we can do. Under a special permit, we can still condition things. I don't know exactly what you would condition, but you can. I believe, you know, there's no other access but from School Street. And again, in the village district, there's a lot of things that can be built there by right. You know, the only reason the restriction is on residential, and I'm not, like I say, so that's what he's really here for.
So if we were to approve the special permit for the lot, they would then go to the planning board, and that's really where the water issues and stuff.
They would, if he meets all the requirements and meets everything, he still have to go for site review.
I think because it's a special permit, or he can ask for a waiver.
Yeah. Okay. But he doesn't really have to go back to the planning board now.
I'm not
For
sure.
residential? I don't believe
think so.
I don't believe so.
No.
I believe, but he has to meet all of the, you know, residential, do you know what I'm saying? All the conditions, side yard setbacks, all of that.
Sure.
All we're doing is giving them the right to build a residential home.
But it has to be
in the village
two-story.
district.
Well, see, that's what I'm struggling with. I don't think, like, he's had the property, he had it permitted, you know, because his inaction doesn't mean that he should suffer the consequences. And because even, you know, I get it, if he has an in-law that wants to be on a single story, that makes sense.
Well, I
But
agree-
if
I
it's
agree with
prohibitive,
all that,
maybe
but
we-
I can't
but-
change the bylaw. You can't.
But can we, I mean, who does he go to and talk to about that once he gets?
Well, he's gonna have to talk to the building inspector and see what satisfies it. It could be that maybe if they got built up the way that they were talking about and just pitch the roof different, it would satisfy it.
So you're saying that that's not the purview of this board?
No,
Make that the
we
condition?
can't change that, no.
Right, all we can do is
we can take up what's before us, which is
Right.
a special
Permit
permit
for the lot.
in the village district.
Right.
Okay.
For a residential lot. That's what we can do.
Okay. So then I'll make a motion that we approve the special permit in the Village Center District for a single-family home.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
With that, any other discussion? I'll call a vote.
I'll say aye.
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 Aye. And with that, I have a little more reading to do. The special permit is granted. And with that, the special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances, and all other applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. Any certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. The special permit shall take effect, it shall not take effect until it has been recorded, and the special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. With that, we wish you luck. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
Time.
Okay, it is 7:45, and we do have another applicant. And so we have some new faces, so I will read this notification again. First, welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The notification is this hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce you to the board members. To my left is Lisa Normandin, our board secretary. I'm Al Gravel. There's Jane Bezikowski, Hans Winthrop, Paul Doherty, and Pat Callahan. Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communications. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of additional documents. So please come forward to the mic, give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions they might have on the application while you're at the mic. There will be a public comment period. You will please come forward to the mic and give your name and address, and please address all comments and questions to the board. The board will then go into deliberation. This is a special permit. The required findings for a special permit are that it will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire, explosions, or other reasons. That it will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or the amenities of the neighborhood. That it will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use, and that it will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines and amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. With that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicants are Grant T. Gary Burton and Harry M. Kubitz, 125 Howard Street in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. Pursuant to Lunenburg Code 250-41G, Table of Uses, a special permit is required for two-family use in the Village Center District. Applicant will also require relief from the dimensional requirements of 250-4.7A5. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. 250-4.7A2, Authority, and 250-8.3B2D, ZBA Dimensional Special Permit Authority. The street address of the property is 944 Massachusetts Avenue, Assessors Map 71, Parcel 79. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Grant T. Gary Burton and Harry M. Kubitz from 125 Howard Street in Lunenburg. The deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 8986, page 295, and recorded December 20th, 2017. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case, the case and dates involved, there is an application of exterior work to the Agricultural Commission which is attached. The special permit questions and answers are as follows. A, will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The proposed use is entirely residential and as such poses no public health concerns nor creates a hazardous condition. Only a two-family is proposed, so that traffic will not be an issue. In fact, given the accessory use apartments would be allowed, there is likely to be no traffic increase beyond what is otherwise allowable. It appears that the proposed use meets all requirements except the floor area ratio. Given the existing dimension of the lot and present structure, it is not clear the ratio could be met for any use in the district. 250-8.3B2D gives the board authority by special permit to vary dimensional requirements. Upon findings similar to those for granting the special permit for use, the board may grant the special permit for a dimensional variation if the board shall find that the permit may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of this bylaw. See 250-4.2B, 250-4.5C, and 250-4.6C, subsection B of this section, and shall find that A, the specific site is an appropriate location for such building or alteration. B, the proposed building or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood with regard to size, location, and architecture. C, the granting of the special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. D, the granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities. And E, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. For the reasons discussed above, the site is appropriate for such alteration and is already a residential use and will remain compatible with the neighborhood. The use as a two-family will not adversely affect the neighborhood and is consistent with the purposes of the Center District to encourage the use of the center. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on values of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The property is currently vacant and in a deteriorated condition. The exterior work, already improved by the Architectural Commission pursuant to a permit for renovation, will in fact enhance the value of the neighborhood. Parking will be off-street and will not add to and perceived parking shortage in the center of town. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if at open use? This is not an open use, so this question is not applicable. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? The proposed use is residential and will not create a nuisance for the adjacent properties. And that's signed by Harry Kubitz and Gary Burton on September 16th of 2018. There's a first floor and second floor plan layout, also a third floor plan layout. There is a street layout, a application to alter, and the assessor's field card. Also the septic system plan. There is also some window plans and a rendering of what the building will look like once it's complete. There is a list of abutters, all of which were contacted and notified 2 weeks prior to this hearing with the assessor's field card. I did receive one correspondence from James Griffey from the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health. This house is still connected to an on-site sewage disposal system. The proposal would constitute a change of use requiring a sewage disposal system in full compliance with Title V. Since there is no municipal sewer in the street, the property, the Board of Health can't issue a permit for a new sewage system, and the property must be connected to the municipal system. I would not recommend the use of this property as a two-family structure until it is connected to the municipal sewer system and the existing septic system is decommissioned in accordance with Title V. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
With that, I would invite the applicant to come forward. Please give your name and address.
Good evening. Robert Bowen, attorney for the petitioner. I also happen to reside at 1686 Mass Ave here in Lunenburg. With me is Mr. Burton, who is one of the petitioners. Also with us to help with the presentation is his contractor as well, to address any of the technical issues you may have. I also have one other document that we did not hand up in the package, and that is a rendering of the meets and bounds of the property that might help the board with its decision.
If you're short, we can share.
Oh, we got plenty. Okay. You can have two if you want. So briefly, and I think in the application we've addressed the findings that you have to make, but briefly, we're here for two things. One, the two-family use under the bylaw requires a special permit. And two, we don't meet the ratio for the floor to area requirement, and so we need a dimensional special permit from the board as well to address that. We think that the use fits with the town center. Our resident historian, Mr. Rogers, reminded me that way back when it was a two-family. So we think that the use is entirely consistent. We're going to plan on off-street parking, so we won't add to any parking issues. And I'm happy to let the applicant and his contractor address the technical issues, and then if the board has any questions, we'll be happy to respond to those.
Thank you.
Gary Burton, 125 Howard Street.
Mike Dumont, 274 Turnpike Road, Ashby.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add up front before we?
I'm owner of the home, and I would like to continue to own the home and you know, refurbish it, make it look great. I know it's not looked that way for a very long period of time, and we're anxious to get started, especially with exterior work, and move forward with this. So we're excited about the project, and my intention from the beginning was to continue to own this property and keep it as an asset.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, then I will open up questions to the board.
What would be the function of the third floor, which someone mentioned to me earlier? There was also a third apartment at that time, too, years ago.
When we took ownership of the house, there was a kitchen on the third floor. There wasn't great access to the third floor. It was a very short staircase. We have had to do a lot of structural work on the house because it had a great number of issues. So we have been working on the interior structure from the basement up. What we've done is we have changed some of the interior staircases to meet code, of course, and looking to add an addition over the flat roof portion of the back of the house to give additional square footage for that second floor apartment, which would also include the third floor as a master bedroom. The bottom floor would be the first floor apartment with the grand staircase going up to a master on the front, and that would be the downstairs apartment. But we would just use that third floor as a master suite and then come down to another bedroom, bathroom, and then a kitchen facility, which would be constructed on the back part of the house. That flat roof would be gone, and we'd, you know, build that into a useful structure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So right now, are you staying in the footprint of the current house other than going up?
We're staying within the current footprint. The only thing we're doing is going up with a second floor on the flat roof portion of the back. We are going to put a porch out on that side, but it won't be interior living space. It will just be a porch with an overhanging roof that will attach into the roof line of that, but it won't exceed limits, the dimensions from the property line to the house.
Okay, and you're the owner, you plan on, are you going to be one that living there? Is that where you're going to be?
No, it's not going to be my primary residence. I live on Howard Street.
Right.
I'm hopeful my daughter will move from California and reside there, but I don't know if that will work out. But if not, we plan on renting both apartments.
Okay.
I noticed you did a lot of excavating on both sides, including the cellar and knocking a hole in the foundation and
Yes.
so forth. Are you planning on having 2 driveways or just 1 driveway on the left-hand side?
We're planning on having 2 driveways. We had to do the excavation and the work with the cellar to get the water cleared out of there because it was very wet down there. There were several feet of water standing down there for a long period of time. So that excavation was done primarily for that, but what we plan on doing is leaving that as a walkout and just recontouring the slope on that side. That's the right side of the house if you're facing it. We also plan on doing a driveway on that side. The current driveway's on the left. We're going to shorten that up because it extended all the way through to the Historic Society parking lot. We want to cut that off. We want to make a backyard space and not allow that drive-through. But we plan on having adequate parking on the left side for the first floor apartment and then adequate parking on the right side for the second floor apartment with an entry coming in the back side of that house with an internal staircase. And the plot plan shows a sketch of that driveway position.
With regards to this connection to the sewerage, is that in your future?
Yes, yes. I've been working with Bob Proctor to accomplish that.
Could you just address the floor area ratio? I mean, you have that as a dimensional variation that you're looking for. I mean, how far off are you on that?
I'll let Mike address that. He's been working on that.
Yeah. We're changing, in the plans, he's changing certain things in there. We didn't change too much interior-wise. I know it's, they're going to need a special variation for that. Basically trying to just do whatever we can to accommodate, to meet that ratio, whatever.
So where is it, what is it, and how far away from you, how far away are you from it, I guess is the question.
To be honest with you, I've got to check on that.
Yeah, is that the building inspector that figures that ratio out?
Yes.
Okay.
Floor area divided by the lot.
Okay,
lot
all
area.
right.
Didn't we do that ratio?
Yeah, that's the maximum lot coverage is what we
Oh,
were.
lot
is,
coverage,
we were
okay.
figuring that out for the maximum lot coverage for parking spaces and that sort of stuff.
Okay, so you've engaged the building department on that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they're aware of it.
We brought him, Andrew, the building inspector, over.
Yeah, sure.
Initially, just as, we got a big can of worms over there. There was a lot of structural repair.
Yeah, okay.
So we brought him in, did a walkthrough, whatever, and
Okay.
he brought up these things to us, and we've been following up with it since.
Thank you.
And stole my thunder, you. Exterior lighting, what do you plan on? How are you going to light the driveways? What type of exterior lighting you can have on the structure?
The plan that I've thought about, there's none there at the moment, but I have 2 post lamps that I'm going to put up, one by each driveway or the entrance, or where you go from the driveway to the house. And then externally on the house, I will have lighting that will light up the driveway positions and will light up the backyard as well at the, the tenants sort of, I'll have switches where they can illuminate what they need to. So there will be availability of exterior lighting on the house when we're finished with it.
Well, I just wanted to make you aware that the lights at the foot of the driveway can't shine up and down Mass Ave.
No, they will
And
not.
distract up,
Yeah,
coming up and down, or actually go onto your neighbor's property.
Right.
Also become a nuisance in that.
Right, and we will not do that. The post lights that I have are not extremely bright. They're just meant to light the area that is close to the sidewalk and not project.
So they'll just shine down, in other
Shine
words?
down, yes. Yep.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Any other questions?
I just have one, Mr. Chair. So just to get an idea of what I would be looking at, like if I was standing in Mass Ave, really the only difference, there's just that porch that would come out slightly on the left.
Yes.
By the existing driveway. Everything else seems to kind of just box the structure
Yeah.
in, basically.
Yeah, it will be virtually the same, but, well, not the same. It will look much better than it does now. But the structure will look the same from Mass Ave as it does now. If you look down the left side of the house where the existing pillars are, we are going to try to very closely match that, scale-wise, so it looks like it has always been there.
And the outhouse stays, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. We can add that too.
Anything else? Okay, and with that, I would invite the public. If anyone would like to speak from the public, come up, get name and address, whatever you'd like to say.
Robert Ebersol, 94 Main Street, speaking as myself, not as a member of the Board of Selectmen. I'm speaking on behalf of the applicant on this. I personally know both the owners for almost 10 years, know the work that they do when they renovate a house, and that it's going to be what is in the application and is going to be an asset to the Architectural Preservation District. I also support the increased density, moving it, making sure that it's multifamily, the two-family. That adds additional vibrancy to the downtown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody?
Oh, wait a second.
Bill Tyler, Graham Street. I'm here to support Mr. Burton in his application. I'm a member of the Historical Society, and we abut the property in question. Mr. Burton came to us shortly after he bought the house and requested some pictures of the property, historical pictures of the property. And when we gave them to him, his intent was to try to restore the house the way it always was. It was built in 1850. And I just want to commend him on his efforts in this respect. I've had the opportunity to tour the inside of the house before and after some of the renovation. And the attention to detail that he's putting into this is amazing. This is a gem of the center as far as, a center house. And I'm just here to support him, and I want to commend him on the work he's done.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak? Let's come forward.
Chuck Venezia, 1402 Mass Ave. I'm also a member of the Historical Society, and I'd like to say that what the applicant is offering is really a gift to the town. His attention to detail and his respect for the history of this house is very impressive. So I really hope that he has the opportunity to complete this job as he's planned it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
We flipped a coin back here. Wasn't planning on a twofer tonight. Hi, I'm Dave Taki again, 72 Leominster Road. I live right around the corner of the new house that he's doing over there. Didn't know they were going to be here today. I have been watching that property for like 6-7 months, and it's full of bugs in here. So, I mean, I'm obviously investing money in my home. It's nice to see that somebody else is investing into renovating some of the older properties. New homes aren't really all that exciting. So it's nice to see that somebody's investing in the community, and it really is. I think it's going to be a great house, and I think it's a nice thing that they're doing as far as looking at a current use. It's a little creative. So I think it's great, and I'm here in full support of that property, in that application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please come forward.
My name's David Wright. I live at 950 Mass Ave, right across the street, next door to the house in question tonight. We've been talking with Gary and the different contractors during this whole time they've been working on the house. We've lived in this 950 for 2.5 years, better than that, my wife and I. And we are pleased to see somebody doing something positive with that house. And my encouragement is to let it, approve the special permit, because I think it's something that's needed. We're the only house right now on the corner over here that for school or Mass Ave, and I think it's going to be a real tremendous asset, and I think it will increase the value of our land as well.
Very good. Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Please come forward.
Colin Dwyer, 76 Main Street, Architectural Preservation District Commissioner. I'd like to echo previous comments, and I know that the addition that they're planning that violates the normal dimensional requirements would be putting a second story and altering that flat-roofed single-story section in the back of the house. Now, the Architectural Preservation District we don't regulate all buildings, we just regulate historic ones. And really all we require is that you preserve the historic part of the building, and that any alterations that you make to it are consistent with the historic building. That would include like an addition. And, I don't think we would have approved the back addition as it stands now, because it is inconsistent with the house. And so I just wanted to mention that this pertains especially to the permit application, because what he's proposing, you can see from the renderings, is to make the back portion of the house architecturally and stylistically consistent with the front part, which is very important. It's very valuable historically. It's a very easily identifiable Greek Revival architecture style building, places that building in a certain historical period, so it has a lot of value in our eyes, and I think this is going to enhance the value of the building. So I'm speaking in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Do you feel that back end of the house was there when the house was constructed?
No, I don't.
Was it an add-on, perhaps a kitchen later down the road?
I don't know when it was built, maybe in the 40s or 50s, I'm guessing, and it was clearly built without consideration for the architectural style of the front of the house.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Seeing none, I'll cut off public discussion, bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we grant the special permit for a two-family in the Village Center District. And I also would make a motion that we approve the special permit dimensional variation for the regulations that they need.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd second that, but I would want to add conditions that they follow the Board of Health as far as the connecting to the sewer line, and put that in the
I agree.
approval. Right.
As long as you accept the condition.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
So I agree. We'll put the condition about the hookup to the city sewerage, and that the old system is closed out properly. So that will be one of the conditions in it. Okay, and with that, I will ask for a vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. So with that, it is approved. I do have a little reading to do on the special permits. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. no special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded, and this special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. And with that, wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're staying.
You're staying? Yeah, oh, that's right. I saw your name again somewhere.
Excuse me, for the record, the gentleman in the back, I did not catch your name. You?
You, yeah.
Yes.
David Wright.
David Wright, okay. Okay, we're good. Moving on.
Oh, yeah, this is perfectly timed. Okay, it is 8:15. So we will hear another application. Again, I don't know if anybody, I don't think anybody is new here. New? I don't need to read this again if there's nobody.
They're all the same.
They're all the same, okay. I've already introduced the board to everybody and gave you the notification, so I'm not gonna go through that again, and I will just ask Lisa to go into the reading of the application.
Okay. I'm going to refer to Gary, to Grant T. Burton as Gary in this one, okay? So this is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicants are Gary Burton and Harry Kubitz, 125 Howard Street in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. Applicant requests a dimensional special permit for a driveway slope. See Lunenburg Code 250-6.4C2D. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, 250-8.3B2D, ZBA dimensional special permit authority. The street address of the property is 406 Lancaster Avenue in Lunenburg. Assessors map and parcel is map 90, parcel 25. The name of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Gary Burton and Harry Kubitz, 125 Howard Street in Lunenburg. The deeds recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 9084, page 331, and recorded June 1st, 2018. They have no knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case. The special permit questions are as follows. Will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply, it will not. There is already an existing driveway servicing the land of an abutter that will be a portion of the driveway servicing the applicant land. The grade on the applicant property is not dramatic. Any condition that might present concerns already exists. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The reply, there will be no adverse effect. The lot is already intended to be a residential building lot, which was simply never built. The intended use is consistent with the neighborhood. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if an open use? The reply, the applicant will maintain the driveway with due regard for order and sightlines. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines and amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of the adjacent property? The reply, the driveway will not be detrimental to the adjacent properties and in fact will be maintained in connection with the abutter. And that's signed September 16th, 2018 by both Gary Burton and Harry Kubitz of 125 Howard Street in Lunenburg. Attached is a septic plan design. And the next plan shows several driveways that come off of Lancaster Avenue. And there is a building permit plan done by Ducharme and Dillis. And there is a list of abutters, all whom have been contacted 2 weeks prior to this hearing. And I do have one letter that I received from the fire chief. Dear Mr. Gravel, in regards to the zoning variance requested for 406 Lancaster Ave, my recommendation is to deny the request at this time. I inspected the proposed site and driveway in question on Tuesday, October 9th, 2018. While the applicant's part of the proposed driveway is not an issue, the existing non-conforming driveway which it is attached to is. My inspection found significant washout and deterioration of the existing driveway surface. The deterioration includes washed-out ruts in excess of 12 inches deep. In my professional opinion, I would question if heavy vehicles such as fire apparatus or delivery vehicles would even ascend the driveway safely at this time. I have forwarded several photographs of the damage to Lisa Normandin for your review. If the driveway to 400 Lancaster Ave was in serviceable condition and fully paved, I'd recommend approval as an existing non-conforming condition. It is my recommendation that the variance not be granted until the driveway is fully repaired and topped with a permanent surface such as asphalt so as to prevent such washouts. If you have further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully, Patrick A. Sullivan, Fire Chief. Those photos were all forwarded to the board members, but I printed them for tonight. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
With that, I would invite the applicant up to speak to the issues.
Robert Bowen again for the applicant, also a resident at 1686 Massachusetts Avenue. With me again is Mr. Burton. Also with us, in addition to his contractor, are Mr. Proctor and Ducharme Dillis is here to speak to the driveway issue. Before I get to that, I guess I want to preface this with the legal framework. This is an A&R lot that was previously approved as a building lot. I think it's grandfathered. The driveway slope on my client's property is fine. The problematic driveway, is indicated in the chief's letter, is on the abutter's property. I don't know what authority this board has to make us fix something on somebody else's property that already exists. All of that being said, my clients want to fix the driveway, so they're here to tell you how they're going to fix the driveway, and I'm going to step away.
Okay.
Bob Proctor, 99 Pleasant Street. Basically, the driveway is in pretty much a mess, and I don't think it's been maintained in several years. That being said, obviously, with the new construction, there's going to be heavy equipment being driven up and down the driveway. It needs to get repaired. This will be originally, I think the driveway was gravelled and some regrinds were put down on it, and again, it just got left for the last few years. At this point here, we re-gravel the driveway, get the driveway so it slopes to the side, get some waterways and whatever needs to get done to eliminate the washout from going down the middle of the driveway. At that point, then all the construction can happen, and obviously the driveway has to be in decent shape, or we're not going to get the cement trucks up there, the lumber trucks up there, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, this is a shared driveway that they're going to take over and reclaim it to where fire trucks and the mailman can get up the driveway if they want. So I don't see any issues with it once we start the whole project.
Okay. Now, is there anything after the construction is done that you're going to do to the driveway? we're
going to
asphalt it after?
Right. Well, I'm not sure what the ultimate plan is as far as asphalt or regrinds. I think the regrinds will hold up just as well as asphalt. The water is the main thing. We have to just deal with the water. So once the driveway's been regraded, there are some ditches, some swales on the sides of the driveway now that were put in back in whenever the house that's up there now was built, back in probably the late 80s. I think they built that one, early 90s. So all those basically have to be reclaimed.
Put all the drainage in on the side of it?
All the ditches, the drainage ditches that are on the side now will be all cleaned out. Any piping that's there, if it's all washed out or all filled in, will be replaced. So basically it'll go back to the standard that it was originally designed for back 20 years ago. The issue is that nothing's ever been done to it by the looks of it in 20 years. So obviously, you don't paint a house, you don't fix a car, it doesn't last. And that's what's happened to this driveway.
Okay. Any questions? Well, he's at the mic.
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman. So after all this work you've done about the swales and this and that, there won't be any water coming off that driveway onto Lancaster
There's
Ave?
not going to be any more water that's there right now. What's actually, if you go into the driveway, there's a brook that's kind of been made because of all the other driveways that are on that hill. That when the hill was developed, there was several driveways that were built all in the same manner as this one here. This happens to be the last lot to get built on. But there's a kind of a waterway that was created from all the water that runs down underneath all those driveways, so none of the water ever gets to Lancaster Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay. I think now, so this property, the second property, so that you have a right-of-way over this driveway, but it actually belongs to the other property?
It belongs to the other property owner, the Washington family. We have had just brief conversations with them about the driveway, them knowing that we obviously share it to get to our property. They haven't done really anything to the driveway, but they are we've talked about sharing expenses for the final driveway that's going to go in after the construction takes place, and they are willing to share the cost of what needs to be done to the driveway, what's appropriate for the driveway. And at this point in time, that's the only conversation we've had with them. So my intention is to work with them to repair this driveway at the end of the construction process to make it adequate for travel up and down.
Okay. But you don't know what you're going to do to the driveway, you don't know what the cost, I mean, if they say they're not going to share the cost?
We've talked about paving the driveway or regrinding the driveway. It was just initial conversations. I know that we looked at some cost of paving, which would be approximately $20,000. They talked about the cost not being a problem, but that was just something verbal between us. We've just started this relationship, since we've owned the property, since summer. So the plan is to get estimates for paving versus regrinds. It will be those two things that we will look at. And of course, we'll work with Bob and the engineering group to figure out the best option, and also with the Washington family. It is on their property. They ultimately have to approve what, we want to do, and try to make that happen.
Okay. Any other questions for the...
When you try to repair or resurface some of this to be able to get your trucks up and back, will it be switchbacking back and forth between your property and this driveway that's presently there?
Currently, the driveway that's there, there's no switchbacking. When we get up to our property, it is sort of just a takeoff from the driveway. So the driveway comes up, it curves around to the house that exists. Our driveway is going to come off and just kind of curve around to the house that we're building. There's not the same grade at that level of the property because we're up at the top of the hill, but there will be just a slight curve. Once you come off the existing driveway, our driveway will come up and make a slight curve around the proposed septic system to come around to the house garage area. But no switchbacks, and there currently aren't any switchbacks in the existing driveway.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just so I'm clear, so as an existing driveway,
yes,
you have a right to pass and repass on it to get to your property that has not yet been built?
Yes.
So you're looking just for a driveway, you're looking for a dimensional variation for a driveway slope?
It's
because
this-
it's too steep for what's allowed.
Right, that
Okay.
was the issue.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
And just so I can add something, when you turn off of Lancaster Ave, the first section of driveway is on our property, which is probably, I don't know, 150 feet, which is pretty flat. It goes to the abutters, up the hill, and then back onto our property, so kind of goes both directions.
Yeah, I noted that when you go in, once you get past that little, I'll say bridge that
Yes.
goes over the stream, that
Then it's
that
the upward
steeps
motion,
right up.
yeah.
And that's and I have to agree, the driveway is a horrible condition.
It's steep, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, my 2 cents, please.
Absolutely.
Did I understand you to say that you're going to wait till after the house is constructed to repair the driveway?
We are going to do some initial repairs to the driveway to stabilize it, to allow the proper runoff, but we don't want to do the final paving or regrinds until we have all the construction traffic through there, so it doesn't get torn up. And then once the house is built, we will plan on doing the final resurface of the driveway at that point, but the initial drainage and work will be done prior to bringing the construction traffic up.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure where you're going with that. I could just see somebody dropping a wheel off the side of the road going up that hill.
Yeah, we
and
don't
then-
want that to happen.
Right, exactly.
Because then we have to deal with it, so.
I think the odds of the postman going up that driveway are probably nil and none, so.
Yeah, luckily the mailbox is at the bottom, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay, as you note, though, the fire department does recommend that we deny the special permit because of the driveway. The other way around that is we can make it a condition of the special permit. But I would strongly condition it that the first part be done before the construction, because, again, looking at the pictures, I don't even think you could get your construction vehicles, anything up there. You can in one moment. So what I would recommend if we do, is we will put some sort of a condition.
And to that end, we don't know if we're going to regrind or pave.
No, I'm not saying we're going to condition the what it is, whether it's asphalt or paved. What we would condition is that the driveway be brought up to some sort of standard. I'm not going to say, but, I mean, it's got to have the proper drainage. It's got to, I mean, depending on what you got to do, I mean, to me, the options are, we can take the recommendation, looking at the driveway the way it is, and deny, or we can condition it.
Oh, no, I agree we should condition it. I'm just trying to understand what the condition might look like.
Okay. So, again, we're going to have to talk about what the actual condition, and I'll even take recommendations from Bob.
My thought is, if you're going to condition it on the driveway being suitable for emergency and commercial access.
Correct. That's our concern, which is the fire department's concern.
And it's a
other town boards is our
perfectly
concern.
legitimate concern.
Okay.
Right.
Bobby wanted to say something.
We'll allow it.
Yeah, the driveway, I can't even get up it now with the dump trucks, with all the equipment, and we need to get up there. So I have to improve the driveway to the point where if I can get up it, then everybody else will be able to get up it as well. You know, we've got excavators that have to go up there, dump trucks with, you know, gravel, sand, stone, et cetera, along with lumber trucks. And, I mean, I wouldn't take my truck up there now. So, you know, we have to bring this thing back up to the standard where, you know, it's going to be passable and repassable for all the construction equipment, which in turn will allow any emergency vehicles to get up and down as well. So before we even start, that's the first thing we have to do, is straighten out that driveway, because we can't do anything until we do straighten out the driveway.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No other questions from the board? I'll open it up to the public if anybody would like to speak. Nobody? Okay, then cut off public discussion, bring it back to the board. Any more discussion on it?
Could I just make one comment, Mr. Chair? Just looking at the pictures, obviously, I understand that anything done with it would make it better. I have to assume a lot of that material is being washed down towards Lancaster Ave, or at least to the low point where it stops. So I would assume that any improvement of just running something over it at this point would be a huge improvement. And then I understand, obviously, you don't want to pave this or do anything nice with it until all the contractors are done, and because contractors can make a mess.
Okay.
Yeah, question, Mr. Chairman. So we're going to condition this with the special permit if it passes. So if the neighbor backs out of paying, then the applicant's on the hook for the whole cost? Would that be an accurate statement?
That would be accurate.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out so the applicant was aware of that, Mr. Chairman.
No, that would be,
Thank you.
that would be, would be on him.
Right.
Any other?
Well, we're only conditioning that it's suitable for emergency
Suitable for emergency vehicles.
and commercial vehicles, right? Commercial use.
Right, if a construction worker was hurt during the process of construction, the ambulance had to get up there, it's definitely...
Exactly, emergency vehicle, fire trucks,
Right,
ambulances, police cruisers,
Yeah.
whatever.
I didn't dare go up there. I looked at it and I was.
I didn't either. I stopped at the bridge.
I figured that was it. I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we grant the special permit for dimensional variation with the condition that prior to building the house, that the driveway is suitable for emergency and commercial use.
Second.
Okay, did you get the condition? Very good.
And the only one thing I would say is that I would ask them, is that okay for building the house? Like, I mean, you'd have to get up there anyways to do anything.
Yeah,
like
yeah, they
Mr.
have to
Proctor
do
said.
that, but I'd like to make sure that they're gonna do the proper drainage on the side, otherwise it's just gonna wash out again.
Yeah, I mean, they know that, I think.
We'll leave that up to the contractor, I guess. Okay, we have a motion, second,
Yep.
okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, again, I have to give you a little bit more reading. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any kind, all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority of the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions, which is the driveway we just talked about. Non-compliance of such conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. After certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded, and the special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. And with that, good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob, straighten your tie. Well, you look professional for crying out loud. Do we show good judicial temperament, Rob? Good night. Good night.
Good night, have a good night.